Hey, welcome back to your second episode of, I was going to say second episode, and then my finger got caught on my cord, and I had like last minute going live malfunction. But hey, there's no one here with us yet except for our replay viewers. So you guys, you replay viewers get the special behind the scenes look. Welcome to your second episode of Lightworkers Connect for the day. My name is Emily Harris, and I'm the founder and director here inside the Akashic Academy. And I love learning new things. You guys have probably heard me do talks specifically on a growth mindset. Well, I'm excited to learn something today. So if you're excited to learn something today too, I want you to raise your hand. I want you to specifically open up your energetic frequency to receive information and knowledge. And I want you to share this out. We are being called to share new perspectives, new knowledge, light and wisdom on the planet right now. So go ahead and share this out. There's somebody in your connection, in your 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, who needs to hear what we're going to talk about today. I'm really excited because I first ran into these brothers who I have here with me today through the Akashic Academy. Kathy Hoymeyer interviewed Adam and Joshua Bigelsen on her show one Sunday morning on nourishing your multidimensional body. And the brothers were coming on and talking about, they were speaking my language. They were talking about Dr. Masaru Emoto. So how many of you guys out there are keen on the idea that we can use our intention, we can energetically program our water? I know most of you guys are probably doing that. It does take it to the next degree when you start actually doing it with every single bit of water that you drink, I have to say. That's been a new level for me, is to bring that awareness to do it with every bit of water that I drink. But our bodies are mostly water. The planet is mostly water. This idea of not only how we can use our intention to program water, but the bigger idea about how patterns of energy are actually replicated throughout the cosmos. Sacred geometry, images, these fractals of energy, and how the cosmos arranges itself. These duplicate themselves in patterns as the universe expands outward. This is also true in our emotions and our own patterns in our own life and our own processing. And what's cool is it's also true going back inward. And this same replication of holographic energy and information is available as we go inward into our own liquid bloodstream as well. And so I'm excited to learn so much more from you guys about exactly what the work is that you're doing in continuing on your father's work in understanding about holographic blood and what our blood tells us about what it is that we're experiencing. So welcome to the show, Adam and Joshua. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm going to say hi to some guests out here in our audience. Give us just a quick rundown of who you guys are, what you're doing, and why it's important that we understand the info that you guys are here to share.
Okay, sounds good. Nice to see you again, Emily. Adam here, and my brother Josh, for everybody that doesn't know who's who. So let's see. The quick and easy thing of what we do is we can typically answer questions about your health that no one else has ever been able to answer before. And what that comes down to is our father, his hero was Sherlock Holmes, so he considers himself a medical detective. Now, what it all comes down to, though, is we see holograms in the blood that represent imbalance in the body or what the body is concerned about. And then typically, as we've done this, we see holograms in the blood, we address what we see in the blood, and then it just seems as though the body starts to fall back into place as to where it needs to be. So what we've got is two things. We have the microscope, which has given us the tool to understand how the body truly works. And then we also have this new understanding of how the body truly works. This is where emotions come into play, which we know are a huge deal. You know, we're emotional beings, and it seems like Western medicine is not really interested in the emotions in that experience. Mm-hmm. So what we do comes down to, as far as the work we've done, comes down to Antoine Béchamp, and he was Pasteur's rival. So I'll let Josh talk a little bit about Béchamp and his experience there.
Okay, Pasteur talked about germs are a causal agent of disease. So the germ is causing our issues. Whereas his rival, Béchamp, talked about we're made up of billions of germs, and it's the terrain the germ lives in that's the issue. So if you have a healthy garden, healthy soil, then good things grow. And if you have a lousy garden, then the garbage starts to grow. So what happens is these germs are here to help us. We're made up of billions and trillions of germs. And what happens is when we get a block in our energetic or in physical flow, we start to stagnate. And when we stagnate, our pHs change. Now, when our pHs change, we've got these little things in our blood that's like our life force. They actually change into bacteria and viruses. So bacteria and viruses are not there to hurt us either. They're actually like the vacuum cleaners of the body. So if you take a nice meandering river and you dam it up, then you get a stagnant pond. The garbage starts to grow. When the garbage grows, these little guys morph into bacteria, and the bacteria clean up all the garbage. As you break down the dam and the body goes back to a nice flowing river, the bacteria then morphs back into a healthy little somatid, which is like your life force. So even the bacteria and viruses are there to help us these days. So it's all about our body's terrain and living symbiotically with it.
Right.
I can literally hear my mom jumping up and down in her kitchen. She actually is really, really into this idea of understanding the dynamics of the body and the biomes and the, like, as you go to the microscopic level, especially inside of the gut and what's going on. So she's super excited. I can hear her saying, "Amen, bro." I don't know if that's exactly what
Nice. Cool. She's on the team.
I'm excited about it too. Here's what it's triggering in my mind that I just want to throw out there. This sounds like vaccination discussion, because Pasteur, when you were talking about that particular individual, I was triggering memories of science class. Wasn't this the one that made in the petri dish, basically the help me, like, you can see I'm struggling here, help me, man. Come on.
That Pasteur would take the bacteria and put it in a petri dish, and he would analyze it, but he never incorporated the environment, the surroundings to it. Right. So it always stayed the same, and it never ever changed.
My experience and I always hesitate to share this, especially with individuals who are really, really medically minded, like doctors, when you're in the room with them. Sure. But I feel I don't vaccinate my kids, but I feel like it's the immune system's response. It's the job to do this. And I've never been able to explain on an intuitive level. Yeah, there's my mom saying amen, brother. I've never been able to explain quite as well as what I heard you talking about but intuitively I felt it, that it's all about the environment around the whatever it is that we're experiencing. And you also flipped my perspective to be able to see a virus and the bacteria and what we've considered germ or bad as the vacuum cleaner for the body. So That's been a really powerful shift that you made for me. So thank you very much. That was cool. Okay.
And those little things are a big deal in the long run, to really understand that you're not being invaded by germs. They're not attacking you. A gardener and farmers know that you put worms in the soil and that helps things out. So the reality is, if you get rid of all the bacteria and germs, then there's nothing left to help and support us. The reality is you need to be good to your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So when we begin to implement these scientific tools that we have, like the microscope, and we go down to this microscopic level and we start looking at the blood, how does this work? How does the blood show us what it is that is going on? Is it like code for depression looks like this and happiness looks like this?
It's a good question.
Yeah. And how can we use it to really define where we're blocked spiritually? Because I know while health is a really cool aspect to a lot of what people want to know, they want to know about their spiritual blocks as well around here. We're all trying to upgrade our own multidimensional understanding of ourselves. And people that I work with a lot, and a couple right now that I'm working with, aren't experiencing the flow of clarity in their spiritual connection as they want to be feeling that I'm blocked. Sure. So how can we relate this information to the spiritual aspect of our growth? What does our blood tell us about our spiritual blockages?
That's a good question. What we do, we align with Rudolf Steiner's 4-body theory. And what he talks about is your physical body, your energetic body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body. And if there's an imbalance in any one of those bodies, it affects all of the other bodies. So physically, if you're damaged, well, emotionally, you get a little annoyed about things. And then energetically, you're down. And the next thing you know, you're questioning your spirituality and God. How could this happen? If emotionally you're out of sorts, you go through the breakup or something. And then all of a sudden, physically, you get tight. Energy gets down. You start questioning God. It's all interconnected. So for us, what we see we do see emotions in the blood, and emotions are a big, big thing. We are emotional beings. So what we see in the blood, though, is we'll see structural issues, which are a big deal. Like Josh said, it all comes down to blockage or stagnation. So your blockages can be structural, they can be energetic, they can be emotional. Spiritual is an interesting one because it's intertwined with pretty much everything else there.
Mm.
Now, emotions are a big deal for us. And what we see is emotions can get physically locked into the body. Right. So, as far as going to your therapist and discussing things for years and bringing that emotion up, and then it doesn't release somehow. And how often do people go get a massage and they just start crying on the table?
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening is the massage therapist is literally physically releasing that emotion. Now, if you want to jump in on any of this too.
Yep. The physical is pretty much the first link. So if the structure of our body is not aligned, then the energetic flow isn't going to flow properly. We'll get stagnations. In those stagnations, we get the weaknesses. So let's say we get a stagnation around the liver, well, then we're more prone to holding our anger in.
Yes.
So also, if we're blocking the energetic flow, then if the energies aren't connecting, if we're not one consistent energetic flow, then how are we really getting in touch with our spiritual side?
Right.
Because things aren't working properly.
You got it.
So the first thing is you got to get this car working properly so it can perform.
Right.
And once it does that, disease cannot live where there are no obstructions. So if the body's working properly, it takes care of itself. It makes it easier for you to deal with your emotions, and it makes it easier for you to meditate and get in touch with your spiritual side.
And you need to do things like, I've seen, for me, it was funny. I'm a musician, and whenever I need to let something out, I'm non-confrontational, and I don't want to yell at people. So I'll go record music. I'll record some obnoxious song and yell and scream or something pretty. In the end, I found out most of the songs I ended up recording for myself as therapy were in the key of G, which happened to be with the throat chakra. Cool. Right. So we've also seen issues with people having throat-related issues because they don't speak their voice. Mm-hmm. So the reality is, like Josh said, things need to be able to flow. You need to open up some of those physical blockages, and energy starts to flow. Emotions start to be okay. If you can, deal with the emotional experience, that's a fun one. But then the spiritual energy is able to really flow through the vessel.
If we keep the physical part open so the energy flows properly, then our pineal gland doesn't get calcified.
Yes.
So there's our connection right there.
There's our science.
There's our antenna.
Yeah. I was just talking with a good friend of mine recently about the connection of the pineal gland and that fountain of youth effect that happens when the pineal gland is up and pumping. You guys have experience with that? What can you share with us about that connection?
Well, joy is a big deal. Joy is huge. We work with Michiko Hayashi, who's the director of the Emoto Peace Project. Hopefully you'll be hanging out with her sometime soon as well. Yes. And, she talks about the fact that we have 80,000 emotions a day, and the majority of them are negative emotions.
Yeah.
We need to practice joy. And it's a big thing. For me, it's what do I get joy out of? You make a list, 10 things that can bring you joy. I had an epiphany one day that as I was stuck in traffic, I could have been drinking a milkshake that whole time. So like a milkshake for me is some joy. Now I'm not going to do that every day, but I know if life gets weird, I can go get a milkshake and that's fine. But the reality is you need to have some joy every day. That's going to get things really moving. If you think about a kid, a little child, and you've got that cupcake, and then that kid's so excited for that cupcake, we can show you in the blood how much more beneficial the joy is to that child than the detrimental effect of the sugar in that cupcake. You don't want to eat cupcakes every day, but that's joy. And when you're going to eat something or go someplace, yay, exciting, or see that band or visit with somebody, that's a big deal to us health-wise. That's life. So
you say you can show it to me. Like you have pictures, you can show it to me?
We can show you all kinds of pictures.
Pictures.
We probably have close to 50,000 pictures in our database right now.
Yeah, that's what's nice about what we've done. We've done this and seen these patterns over and over. I'm trying to get my glare out of there for you. Is that in the picture?
Yeah, just go up a little bit more.
Okay.
It's going to be a little bit of glare, but we can see it pretty clearly.
Josh's face. So this, to show you a few pictures that kind of are hard to question anatomy-wise. This is a kidney in the blood. You look at your anatomy book, a kidney.
A kidney.
Yeah. So, we looked at the person's blood. Something was going on kidney-wise. Kidneys for us, it doesn't necessarily mean they had a kidney issue. What's the emotion related or associated with kidney?
Fear is the emotion of kidney. So when we see the kidney in there, it could be a physical issue, but there's some fear in there as well.
Yeah, we align very much with Chinese medicine that each organ is associated with a different emotion. Other things we'll see. This is actually my broken collarbone. I have an x-ray of that somewhere. But some of them we have matching pictures. So there's the sonogram on top, and that's a picture in the blood on the bottom.
We used to tell people whether it was going to be a boy or a girl, and we were wrong once. It looked like a boy.
Yes. Right. Let's see. This one's fun. And that one's going to be too bright, is it?
No, it's good. That one's fine.
Okay, cool. You've got the anatomy book with the picture of the femur, and then you've got a picture of the blood. Now, holographic theory, this is your blood here, states that if we take one drop of your blood and see that there, we should see that in every drop of blood we take from you. And we do. This one, you've got the x-ray of the spine, and then you've got the spine in the blood. These are just air pockets on the side, but you can see the vertebrae, the cartilage there. So some of these are kind of hard to question. There's the knee. That's actually my knee in the blood. Air pocket on the side. But I have a little bit of a knee issue. This was fun. This was a dental implant that we saw in the blood. The body said, I'm not interested in this. We actually had the dental implant removed, and there is the implant next to the picture of the blood. So there's no Photoshop there. Those are the same exact dimensions. This over here is the blood after the person had the dental implant removed. What happens is the image shows up in the blood because the body's concerned about it. We removed the implant, so the image in the blood started to dissipate real time.
Wow. That's cool.
Hours of fun. We see emotions in the blood.
Hours of fun, you said.
Yeah, hours of fun. These are your emotions bubbling up to the surface within somebody. We'll see things like this. These are your old crystallized emotions. These have been in there for a long time, and sometimes they'll show up in the shape of organs. So, for example, go ahead.
That was really interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing how it works. You know, when our father first did this too, he did not believe what he was seeing. It took him a long time to really, he's a skeptic, but he's that type of show me skeptic. So he had a woman he was working with in his clinic, and she asked the client, she said, when did you break your arm? And the client said, I didn't put that on my history form. How did you know I broke my arm? And at that point, my dad excused himself and the other practitioner and said, yeah, how did you know that? And she pointed in the microscope, and there was a picture of a broken arm in the blood. So our father, he took him about a year seeing this over and over again until he really believed what he was seeing.
At this point, he's a pretty straight-edge medical doctor.
Yeah. He was an eye surgeon. Yeah. So, the thing is, the body will tell you what it's concerned about. And if you address that, then you start to peel back the layers. Emotions, like we said, are a big deal, because we have emotions all the time, and it shuts us down physically. You get tense, and it affects your circulation and your respiration. Yeah. And this is, it's a natural thing we do. We armor when things are going on, but a lot of us stay in that state for longer than we need to. Mm-hmm. The reality is joy is a big deal. We need to loosen up a little bit, practice joy, and health will actually start to fall into place. You do need some external help. If you get damaged externally, then sometimes you need someone to help put you back in alignment.
We take our car to the mechanic to get aligned once a year, and we need the same thing with our body. The body needs to be aligned properly. Otherwise, it's not going to drive straight.
Right.
The amount of people we've had come in thinking they have heart issues, they've been to every doctor, they can't figure out any problem with their heart, but you look at them, and they're like this. So the body's out of alignment, and it's putting pressure on the heart.
Yes. So
the only thing we recommend for everybody is body work. Get that car aligned.
Yeah.
And when you say people come in and they think they've got a heart thing going on, they're all cranked up. What does a person coming in look like what does that process look like to come in and work with you? How do if they're watching and they're resonating with what you're saying, how do they reach out and work with you, and what does that process look like?
Good question. When we had our clinics open, which we do not have anymore, basically we would look at a drop of blood. We see issues, physical, energetic, emotional. We would have different treatments there that we can use to address those things. And our clinic was very simple. We did some neural therapy, which is basically injections right to scars to open those scars up because there are blockages in the body. Now, afterward, we would do the therapy and treatments. We'd look at your blood again. And if we did the right thing, the blood would change and you would feel change. These days, however, since we're not working with people as far as treatments and therapies, what we do is educational consultations. You can go to our website, you become a member of our private association. At that point, you can order the consultation, and we ship out slide kits all around the world. Basically, you stick your finger We get that slide kit back within 24 hours. We start to look at the blood. We will send you pictures and a whole report educating you as to what we saw in your blood, and ideally treatments, therapies, modalities that have worked for other people in your situation. And if all goes well, hopefully we know some people in your area that we can educate you about as well. So it's about finding out what's going on with you, giving you some homework. Ideally, you do your homework, and then we're around to take a look again to see how things are changing for you.
And then there's always one thing that sets us off center, and it could be a birth trauma, it could be a dental trauma, emotional trauma. You have to figure out that one thing. Other things can compound on top of that, and then the ripple starts to, they have the ripple effect. But there's always one reason we're off center, and you have to figure that out. And if you can't figure that out, then you're just guessing at trying to fix the person.
Yeah, if you can support the body, it's amazing.
Go ahead, Adam.
If you support the body, it can do amazing things. It's the perfect machine. We support it.
I love that we have been gifted all of these different ways to like decode our maps, figure out like where do we go to shift things within ourselves as we're experiencing this time on the planet, when it's so fun to have this big expansion and explosion of consciousness and acceptance of this kind of protocols and understandings. The question here, where did you learn this? I'm so excited to answer because it comes from your daddy. I should let you guys really answer how that information was passed along. But it's really, really cool and very special that this is a family legacy, that this is like ancestral information that you guys are passing along on the planet for us. And that I find that that's really, really powerful. So tell us a little bit what that looked like when you decided that you felt that call to share your father's legacy.
It was funny because I was making my living as an artist at that point in time, and he told me to never do what he does. Because he really wanted, he's got a lot of flack for doing it. It's been a difficult road for him.
Right. Yes.
So he wanted me to enjoy myself.
Can I just ask a question? Running through my mind, it was thinking like when he was going through this process where he actually started seeing like the arm and the blood, like when he started, that it was really happening. It took a while to wrap his head around it. I wonder what it was like for your mom when he'd come home from work and try to...
I remember him coming home from work, and I remember him as a child. We grew up in New Jersey, in Princeton, and he was a rich eye surgeon, and he was not happy. And we moved to Arizona. He took a 70% cut in pay so he could help people. And as he was doing this, I remember him, family dinner, we always came home for dinner. There's a video my dad did about that, our dad, about starting to be healthy. Make your family come home for dinner, make them chew their food, cook with you. So he would come home from work totally excited. Oh my God, this person came in with this, and we did this, and I tried this, and all of a sudden this was going on. And you know what he was doing? He went to Arizona and he found the ARE clinic, which is an Edgar Cayce clinic. And he studied Edgar Cayce's medical readings. And he noticed things like Edgar Cayce.
Which came from Akashic Records, right?
Yes,
everybody.
Yep.
And this is that's a pretty big cool part of what really changed and brought his results and skyrocketed them is at the end of almost all of Edgar Cayce's medicinal readings, he would recommend osteopathic work, body work. Mm-hmm. As soon as Dad started incorporating body work into everything he did, his results just skyrocketed.
Right. Yeah, it's a big deal. Align the car, like Josh said. You can put all the good gas and all the oil changes in your car you want, but if it's out of alignment, it's going to keep driving off center.
And to answer the question, Mom's a Pisces, so she just flows with it.
Yeah. But we get out to Arizona, and Dad found this holistic experience, and life changed at that point. At some point, Dad it was me actually, I was about to go to college in a week, and I got mono so bad that I was showing minor signs of hepatitis. And Dad somehow found this German doctor on an Indian reservation in Arizona that he had heard about. And he brought this guy in. And this guy actually flew in the Luftwaffe. So my dad, our family is Jewish. You've got the Jewish doctor and the ex-Nazi working together. And, there was a needle this big, and they said, say ah. Yeah, he did some interesting stuff, and Dad learned a little bit from him. However, he went back to Germany when the Berlin Wall came down, and then we don't believe in coincidences. Another German doctor happened to cross our path who did the microscope work as well. Now, we have both those German physicians are no longer with us. We have hired private investigators to look into where they learned, and we do not know. So at this point, we are the only ones in the world doing this work. So that's why Josh and I we're lecturing. We're working on training courses to train people. This work needs to be shared.
It's really, really exciting work. And I just want to thank both of you guys for giving us a little bit of your time and sharing how this has impacted your life and how your journey is unfolding. Everybody, I want to invite you to reach out, connect with them, keep up with what they've got going on. It's really, really powerful. Before we go, since we talked about how important joy was, and you guys were really, carrying your joy signs around, joy. Yeah. Tell me, give us a couple practical tips, each of you. What are your favorite tips for incorporating joy or bringing more joy into your life?
Well, it's different for everybody. So we used to have people make a list of 10 things they really enjoy. Yeah. And you're surprised at what comes out on that list. So when you're feeling down, you can always just open the drawer, look at that list and say, well, I could be drinking a milkshake right now. But for me, I could be playing soccer right now. So you really have to figure out what works for you. I find when it's difficult to figure out what I want to be doing, that's where I do my Qigong. It gets the energy.
Qigong is your thing. Nice.
It really balances the energy out, and all of a sudden I'm focused, and then I can concentrate a little bit.
And you can do that for 5 minutes anywhere. Little things. Take a walk is a big one. Listen to some music. People say I'm at work. We're just about to post on our private membership site a chair yoga video. So yoga you can do while sitting in your chair at work. So there's little things, call up a relative and chat for a little bit. Some people just like to read a book. Just go lie in the sun for a few minutes or something like that.
You got to figure out what makes you happy. We ask it of all of our clients, if you could be doing anything right now, anywhere in the world, what would you be doing? And most people can't answer that.
Right.
And it's tough. You really have to know what you want to be doing. You really have to know what you enjoy.
And life happens. There's so much stuff all around us. You really need to practice it. So for the listeners and watchers and viewers, homework, make that list of joy, 10 things. And if you could be anywhere, think about it. Where would you want to be right now?
Yeah, sometimes it takes a while because we have to strip away those layers of our just what gets programmed onto us to really access joy and happiness. Beth says, what is Qigong? I know we have to wrap up quickly here, but since Qigong, we have so much in common, guys. I love the stuff. I love the Akashic Record stuff. I love Qigong. Something that you were talking about when you said Edgar Cayce closed the majority of his sessions with doing body work. And when your dad began to incorporate body work, he began to have much more just very profound results. I made a connection to my own journey as well, because as most everyone who's hanging out here, but if you're new and you're hanging out here, my passion and my mission is to teach others how to access the Akashic Records. It was a process that I learned in 2015, and I had a massive timeline shift of what my life looked like, what my priorities were, how much knowledge I could access, how much healing I could attain inside of myself. And because of that, it was so profound. I became a teacher, a mentor to teach others how to access their own Akashic Records. And I did that by downloading a process that I got from my peeps that I work with up there. But it was different than the way that I learned. And it has a lot to do with the way that we're creating the energy, the way that we're setting the energy up, the body work that we're doing. And I was able to recognize that that was one of the very profound reasons why the way that I was given is constructed the way that it is, because it allows for not only that shift in the brain waves and the emotions, but in the body, like the body work as well, and the understanding of the flow of energy. So you actually helped me understand my own process more dynamically, and I appreciate that very, very much.
Nice, yeah.
But Qigong is, of course, and I studied a little bit of Qigong and Tai Chi, but I don't know that I can wrap it up for you in maybe quite as well as Joshua can, since it's your happy place. Share with us, a little bit more about what that is.
Basically just a passive martial art that's all about movement and moving the energy. So actually in the East, it's viewed as medicine. And there's different healing sounds for different organs. So there's different sounds, like if my liver's off, liver shows up in the blood, I'm outside and I'm doing my liver chant. Yeah. And I'll come back in, we'll look at my numbers on Adam's GDV camera and look at the blood, and things have changed. So there's ways that you can literally talk to the organs, which is really nice. Yeah. It's really passive and just gets the energy moving. Yeah. There's different moves. There's sounds. Om is the sound that actually decalcifies your pineal gland.
Yeah. Different things for different people. Like for us, it's if you want me to meditate and sit and just be still,
Can't do it.
Yeah. So, but I can focus on movement, and I can focus on energy, and it's really nice. We worked with someone recently. Shannon Harris is awesome. He does audio pharmacology, and we did a medical qigong with him that included theta wave brain entrainment, and he included the sounds and the colors. So with each organ, we're visualizing color as well as doing the sound. And like Josh said, we looked at blood and we looked at numbers with my GDV camera. And doing the liver experience, Josh saw the liver change just from doing this little liver exercise for like 5 minutes.
And I believe we've got Qigong videos on our website too. Once you become a member, there's guided meditations. There's somebody teaching you Qigong. Lots of neat stuff on there.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I have learned a lot today. You've inspired a lot of aha moments and great thought in me. I know with our people out here as well, because check out what they're saying. Fabulous guest today. Holy smokes, my mind is blown. Can't believe the magic of this practice. And my girl Nancy Louise commented several comments ago asking if you guys would please be sure to post your links so they can get a hold of you, they can connect with you guys, figure out what else you've got going on and how to stay in touch with you, because yeah, you guys are super cool. Did you know the earth vibrates the Om frequency?
Oh yes. Happy.
Yes.
I love it. So I really have loved this. I love being able to sit in the learning seat and really wrap my head around more ideas about how our planet is working, how the energy is playing out. And I appreciate you guys taking this time to school me and my audience here at the Akashic Academy. We'd love to have you back again and hang out some more.
Great.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody. Namaste. And we'll see you back here again.
Look forward to it.